Sensors are a necessary part to any robot. Their primary purpose is navigation, but they have a number of other uses as well. The three sensors you will find on Mindstorm-based robots are rotation, touch, and light sensors. In this movie, we will discuss some of the advantages and disadvantages to using rotation sensors. The most common use for a rotation sensor is to attach it to a drive wheel and use it to determine how far the robot travels. This is one method of determining distance as opposed to relying on time, which can be affected by low batteries or varying speeds. Here is an example of how to use a rotation sensor to determine distance. First, build your robot with a rotation sensor attached to the main drive axle. Now, place your robot in the starting location. Turn on the robot, or, if it is already on, turn it off and then back on. This will clear the amount of rotations it has counted so far. Now, hit the black View button until the arrow is pointing at the port your rotation sensor is attached to. By hand, move the robot to the location you want it to drive to. Your RCX view screen should be counting the rotations your wheel is making. Enter the number into your program, which may look like this. From here, all you need to do is download the program and run your robot. It should get you close to your target. It is very important to note that the program will read one rotation as 1/1/16 of a turn of your wheel. Rotation sensors can help you with turning as well as going straight. Be sure that the wheel you are using to turn is the same wheel your sensor is on. Also, keep in mind that the rotation sensor will stop your motors once your desired count is met, but momentum may swing you farther. In situations where perfect aim is required, you may wish to apply different methods to ensure your robot is facing the right direction after a turn. Another use for rotation sensors is to determine the movements of an attachment. In this example, the rotation sensor will inform the robot when the arm has reached the correct position. Here, the robot will continue traveling forward until the rotation sensor detects movement. The gate is attached to the rotation sensor, so once the target is met, a signal is sent. Be aware, however, that rotation sensors are rarely 100% accurate. Even if your sensor itself is flawless, your robot may slip during its travels and throw off the rotation count. The ideal speed a rotation sensor should be measuring is between 50 and 300 RPM. Any faster or slower than this, and the sensor may start adding or missing rotations. The main disadvantage to using a rotation sensor for navigation is that you are using a concept called dead reckoning. This means that you are not actually sensing objects on the field, but rather just what your robot is doing. In this case, you are measuring how many times the wheels turn. You are assuming that there is no slipping occurring, that your robot is traveling straight, and that no other ambient problems have occurred. The best way to minimize this problem is to use light or touch sensors to help check your robot's progress while out of base.